All right, guys, let's wrap up tonight in the broadcast booth of Monday Night Football. Hot off the heels of Tony Romo's monster contract from CBS, ESPN is reportedly pursuing NBC's Al Michaels to revamp their Monday Night Football crew. This will require some creativity since Michaels is under contract with NBC through 2022, but he's gotten out of contracts before. ESPN reportedly hopes to pair Michaels with Peyton Manning to replace Joe Tessitore and Booger McFarland, whom haven't been fan favorites recently. All right, Jay, it's pretty simple. Should Al Michaels return to Monday Night Football?
Revamp. Oh Lord, there's gonna be full-blown reconstruction need to be taking
Renovation.
place. It's you know what? It's incredible. Since it started with Mike Tirico leaving Monday Night Football. It's just been a steady decline. I feel like we've reached, they've hit rock bottom. They got to get something. And I get it. Like Al Michaels, obviously he'd be a tremendous upgrade over anybody. It's amazing all the talent ESPN has. They haven't been able to find the right fits in there, whether it's the play-by-play or the analysts. The play-by-play guys have actually been competent. The analysts, Lord have mercy, Jason Witten. You did America a favor by returning to the field, because in the booth, it just wasn't good. And then we talked about it. Old Booger out there on the forklift camouflaging, and then he replaced Jason Witten. He's like, oh yeah, now we got something cooking, and then he get exposed because some of his some of his lackluster analysis. But hey, in regards to the question, and this may surprise you, but no, Al Michaels should not return to Monday Night Football. And here's why. Stick with me. The hottest ticket in regular season football, it is not Monday Night Football. It just isn't any longer. Sunday Night Football is the hottest ticket in the NFL regular season. Think about it. That's where the best matchups are. The ESPN Monday night games, we get some good games from time to time, but probably about, 25, 30%. There'd be some real clunkers in there because they can't flex the games late in the season. It's the Sunday night games that have that option. So that's why. And when I think of play-by-play guys in the NFL, there's two guys, and you can flip a coin for them. Heads, Al Michaels. Tails is Jim Nantz. I'd be more than satisfied to hear either one of those guys on one of those games. So with that in mind, Al Michaels is who I want in the booth on the biggest game of the week, him and Jim Nantz. So Al Michaels, leave him alone. Now, I got plenty of suggestions for ESPN, and they're not within the network, unfortunately. So I do like that they're trying to get somebody from outside of ESPN because, let's be honest, ESPN, they kind of been purged recently. They lost a lot of talent. Fox has picked up a lot of their guys. We've seen this. So, the easy solution for me would be like, Mike Tirico, why'd you leave? Go back there and retake that over. I think that would work just fine, but it probably ain't, because if Al Michaels leaves, Mike Tirico is going to step into Sunday Night Football. So, but hey, I think CBS and Fox have some guys they should be looking at. How about, I'll give you a list. Iron Eagle. He's number 2 over there at CBS behind Jim Nantz, works with Dan Fouts. I think he does a great job. Give Iron Eagle a look. What about, let's go over to Fox. Their number 2 guy. I think Fox's number 2 guy, Kevin Burkhardt. I think he's better than Joe Buck. That's just my opinion. I take Kevin Burkhardt. That's just me. And hey, and speaking of Joe Buck, when Joe Buck goes over there and calls the World Series and all, they put in old Tom Brenneman. I'll take Tom Brenneman. Give me one of those guys. There's 3 options right there. And I think they'd be an upgrade over anybody else. Look, you can't have Al. Al's doing great, if Al wants to go. But I wouldn't move Al Michaels out of his current role because, again, Sunday Night Football is a better draw than Monday night. It just is. Leave Al Michaels alone.
Hold on, let me get my composure back together.
Go ahead. Take your time.
Disrespect. I can't believe this disrespectful. You're
looking at it the wrong way. I got nothing but love and respect for Al Michaels.
Ever disrespect the great Joe Buck like that?
Oh, okay. Listen, all right. Now you got me. I'm guilty.
Listen. I'm tracking. I follow your point with Al Michaels, but here's the deal. When I look at this, why is Al Michaels' name getting brought up in this conversation if NBC felt that way about him. I don't hear them saying Chris Collinsworth. I know why Mike Tirico's name not going to come up in it because they left on pretty rocky terms. We seen how John Gruden felt when Mike Tirico ended up getting axed and got over to NBC. So it's no way that's happening unless you really going to be paying out the money. But you can't do that because you plan on paying Peyton Manning all this money. So one guy's going to get the boatload of money. The other guy's just going to get shipped. I'm not opposed to like those replacements, but here's the deal. It's a reason why Al Michaels' name is getting brought up. Either something is going awry with him in NBC or that NBC just feels like he's fat that they can trim away. And they want to get Mike Tirico in his seat for some reason. Other than that, what other reason? Why are we even talking about Al Michaels? It has to be something of that magnitude. I mean, he's great. He's awesome. I love him and Chris Collinsworth. But if that was the case, wouldn't you want to get rid of Chris Collinsworth rather than Al Michaels if you had to get rid of one or the other? So I'm just wondering why is Al Michaels the name that's coming up? Now, okay, cool. Al Michaels say, I want to, if you're going to trade me away, all right, send me away. Give me a fresh start. He's going on another primetime channel. It's not like they putting him at the 4:30 game on CBS now. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be doing the primetime Monday game. And look, if he gets to share the booth with Peyton Manning, all the eyes is about to flood back to Monday Night Football. He'll be just fine. But I'm one of a belief that his name is getting floated for a reason. Because all those names you just named, those young up-and-comers that's behind the head guys, we haven't heard any of them. The only name we heard in this search is Tony Romo, which he got paid phenomenally, and CBS said, you stand with us. And then we heard Al Michaels and now Peyton Manning. I heard a little rumor about Jeff Saturday. If they can't get the Al Michaels thing to work out, they're saying, how about putting the quarterback with his old center? It might be some chemistry there. I'm opposed to that because I don't want two football guys up there. I need one guy to be the play-by-play, the head state, keep us on track, doing what he do, and I need the other guy to be the sports guy, the play. You know what I'm saying? This is why Tony Romo is successful, people. Let's keep in mind. Yes, Tony Romo came out here. He shot it out of the cannon. I love him. But if Jim Nantz wasn't Jim Nantz, if Jim Nantz was Joe Tessitore, I'm going to tell you right now, it wouldn't matter because Tony Romo probably wouldn't sound as good as he would with Jim Nantz because Joe Tessitore can't carry the water like Jim Nantz can. So it matters. You can tell me it don't matter if you want to, but go back and look at a broadcast where it's two NFL level analysts up there, and it's no pace to it. It's kind of like us. Like we can get up there, yeah, we know all our stuff, but we don't know how to set a pace. We don't know how to break it in and out. We don't know how to, hey folks, breaking news. That's what they do. They have mastered that, and that's why Troy Aikman and Joe Buck work so well. Joe Buck been doing it so long, he know how to pace their broadcast. He know how to bring it in and out. He know how to go left or right. He know how to, hey, we need to talk about that. We're talking about that. Whatever the case might be. To answer the question, I just took the long route to this. Al Michaels should come back to Monday Night Football, and ESPN should go pay Manning whatever it is he's asking for. You need to bring some juice back to this broadcast booth, because right now that product ain't worth listening to. In the last 2 years, I think I might have listened to the product maybe 5 or 6 times because I start putting the TV on mute. Is that what is Booger McFarland telling me? What? You are what you broadcast, Booger.
10 yards for a first down. What?
He say the most ridiculous stuff. You gotta have your quarterback throw the ball to the wide receiver to get the first down. If you don't say, Booger. Oh man, you really opened my eyes to that one. Well, Joe, Tess, you know what? Sometimes you gotta wear a suit with a tie. Noted. Suit with tie. Like, so you get this crap out of here. This copy and paste broadcasting he doing right now. You get him out the way. Joe Testa, I do have respect for him. But look, Monday Night Football might be a little too much for him. I mean, this is the most popular game in America. Millions of people watch this game. This might be a tad bit much for him. I love what he do with college football. I think he's the man when it comes to the top ranked boxing broadcast. He's beautiful, eloquent, but I don't know about the Monday Night Football. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and knock this off while we can. Get Al Michaels, get Peyton Manning, bring the fans back, bring the energy back, bring the love back, and you know what I'm saying? Are you ready for the football? You know what I'm saying?
At least they got Hank back in there a couple years ago. Hey, couple counterpoints just to what you said, and one of them is something we may not be thinking about, and I'm glad I remembered it so we can bring it up. It's not only about the regular season games, because think about it, when you work for ESPN, you only get one playoff game, and it's normally the most rinky-dink wild card game. We over here wondering why in God's name are we watching Brock Osweiler against Connor Cook? I know y'all remember that one for a few years ago. That's the ESPN game. ESPN always find a way to get shafted with the 4:30 in the afternoon Saturday game that winds up being a world-class clunker. So that's one of the things to think about. And again, hey, a byproduct of that is you won't see Al Michaels call a Super Bowl every 3 years. I think that's something we would miss out on because ESPN ain't a part of that rotation. It's just Fox, CBS, and NBC. And to your point about why is Al Michaels being brought up, and I just got a question for you. Could this seems to be all ESPN driven. I haven't seen anything about NBC wanting to let Al Michaels go. I don't know if I'm just missing something and also with that being said, could ESPN just be shooting too high? Like, I get it. Like, they need some help, but are they trying to grab for too much? Like Tony Romo, like hottest like analyst out there. And then Al Michaels, obviously, for me, it's either him or Jim Nantz. Like, those are the two best in the business. And then, of course, Peyton Manning. I mean, Peyton Manning works for ESPN. I mean, he does the detail stuff. So, I mean, you got him in there. I just think for Peyton Manning, it could be just a lack of interest. Like, he's just not interested in doing that. So, I mean, I think they're just – I just say that to say maybe they just aiming a little too high.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. They better figure it out because they missed on both of these dudes after missing on Romo. That product is really finna suffer. So they better hope they get one of these dudes at least if they don't get both because you don't want to bring Joe Test and Booger Met. I know what he about to say next falling back. So,
hey, don't you feel a little bad for Joe Tessitore? Because I think Joe Tessitore, I think he's like a capable voice for that. But when the level of analysis is so bad, it's just a team effort in there. It's like us on this show. Like if I'm over here dragging my behind, like it's gonna naturally make you look a little worse too. So I think that's the same thing that's happened to him over the past 2 seasons with Jason Witten and old Booger.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two. I mean, when we first went to start the segment, I had a little bit of different opinion, but I think y'all are right on a couple of these things. And I would love. I think Al Michaels, Peyton Manning, Monday Night Football. That would be the coolest thing. Monday Night Football, I mean, as far as I remember, was always like the thing. You know, that was it. What I like about Monday night is it's its own thing. There's no other games that day. There's nothing else going on. It's just one game, one night. Like everything is kind of like centered around that one game. And lately, God, it's been horrible. It's just been such a poor product. And it's some of it has been the announcing. It definitely has been, but the matchups are just bad. I mean, they aren't good. But you know, I think y'all are right. Joe Tessitore, I like a lot. I like him. I think if you put him with a Peyton Manning level, analyst, he'd be fine. I really do. But Al Michaels, I still think would be a better. Is obviously a tier above what Tessitore brings you. Al Michaels is one of those guys that, man, you just think football when you hear him, But I think the Peyton Manning thing is really interesting because Romo has screwed this up for a lot of other analysts. I mean, unless you're like a special case like John Gruden or something, like people are going to want more quarterbacks in the booth. They're going to want guys that have that combination of intellect for the game and the personality can't have like Jay Cutler up there like, yeah, that was cool, I guess. Like, that's not gonna work.
Up and down an exercise bike.
Yeah, out there, But guys like Manning have that perfect combination. I mean, they have it both. So him and Manning pairing those two together would be awesome. But Monday Night Football, to get it back on track, besides going and getting these other analysts and dudes, like these matchups have got to get better. I don't know exactly how that's controlled, who gets what Monday night game or how much they can flex or can't flex. But, most every team gets on Monday Night Football, except my Jaguars in 9 years. But some of the matchups are just bad. It's hard because they make these in the preseason. Some teams are just going to suck. We know there's like 5 or 6 teams that are just going to suck. And there's 5 or 6 teams that be really good, almost guaranteed. But then there's like 20 in the middle that just 15, 20 that just, you never know. A 3-13 projected team can go 13-3. And by week 10, week 12, that's a team you really want to put on TV. Well, but we can't. The only ones that can do it is, right, like you said, Sunday Night Football. Well, why can't we do that with Monday night too? Why if I got Browns Jets on Monday Night Football week 12, why can't I boot them back to 1 o'clock on Sunday and put someone good in? Just last year, we had a couple of those. We saw the Jets twice, which was awful. We had that, remember the horrible Jets-Eagles crap at the end of the year? We got the Colts in week 16. They were dead by then. Like, down the stretch, like, they got to find a way to make the matchups more interesting. Because if you don't do that, I don't care who's calling the game. If I got to listen to whoever's calling it, if I got to watch Browns Jets, I'm not turning it on. Sorry. So, yeah, I think as big of a deal as it is, and I like that ESPN realizes their product isn't working and they're going to have to fix it. That, to me, is as big of a deal as getting the guys in the booth. But I think overall, if you have Tessitore and you can get a better guy next to him, I don't know if you need to go all the way for Al Michaels and pay all that money when you can just get a guy next to him that can bring up the product overall and just, for the love of God, get Booger out of there. And then you're at the 80% solution with just that, right?
I just wonder if the guy that was in charge of reading the contract when they made this deal with the NFL, if he still works for the ESPN. Because let me tell you, that's got to be a terrible contract. He got blindsided with the 2-piece and a biscuit on this one. You just get the worst product. And it's just like, you get the worst product in the postseason. Then you get the worst product during the season. God. And if you got any piece of the preseason, you're going to get that too. Like, you get the games that's in Mexico. Like, what's going on, man?
And another thing, as far as like the matchups, and this is kind of heading out of bounds on this topic, and it probably goes a little bit more into Thursday Night Football, but hey, to the NFL, just because it's a division game, don't mean it's a good one. Like Browns, Bengals, we don't need to see that. Stick it at 1 o'clock in a regional game, and like Redskins, Giants, like some of these games like that you think have so much history and tradition. You put them on television, and they're an absolute eyesore. Like, come on, man. Get that together.
For one, I enjoy the Jaguars' ass beating by the Titans every year.
No, you don't. Stop it. No, you don't.
I think it's great to see my team get embarrassed every year on national TV. You're right. Those divisional matchups, some of them are trash.
So, yeah, they not all created equal.
Right. A lot of problems.